Ben, good to catch up again. Firstly, your reflections on this week and discussions that have perhaps been had since that draw against Fleetwood.
Yeah, we've gone through the game. Looking back at the game now, I was on the bench, so I had quite a good view of what was going on. Obviously, first half, I thought we dominated the game. Good possession. Shame not to get another goal, or two to kill it off. Sort of story of how it's gone, to be honest. Dominating games and maybe not getting the goal. Goals change games, and it's one of those that we didn't sort of kill it off. I think we moved the ball really, really well. And then second half, they came out, made 4 changes. It's one of those where they've made a really good impact. The 4 subs that came on, they sort of changed the game. They were very much the better side second half. And then I thought they probably settled for a point maybe late, and we sort of came back into it late on. But yeah, we need to get better in that spell to not concede. Because like I said, goals change games. It's one of those where you concede at that time. It's disappointing, and then you're sort of on the back foot at home, and it's one of those where you shouldn't be like that. We should be dominant and trying to get the second and third goal to win the game.
I guess it's probably the perfect example out of all our games this season where not taking your chances can really kill you, because we could have been perhaps 2-3 up at half time, and then obviously Fleetwood's dominant in the second half and get that goal back. Yeah,
we say we could have been 2-3 up. We could have, but we didn't probably create enough clear-cut chances for the amount of dominance that we had in the first half. I think we can all look at it and say, the possession stats, everything were brilliant, which they were, but to create more clear-cut chances would be ideal, and to maybe cause the keeper a bit more of a problem.
Looking ahead to this weekend, then, it's another case, a bit like Bristol Rovers, of playing Peterborough twice in, 3 weeks, I think. They gave us a hell of a game at SJP a few weeks ago, but I can imagine conditions-wise, they went down to 10. It's going to be a completely different game this time around away from home.
Yeah, like you said, I think it'll be that sending off for them, change that game. Obviously, we'll take it, but it's one of those where away from home it's going to be very, very different. They're a good side at home. They've got a lot of threats, so they've got a lot of players that can hurt you. So it's one of us this week now to work on what we can and put ourselves together the best we can to get a result up there. We know it's going to be tough, but it's one of those where we know we're a good side. We've got belief within the squad, and it's one of those we feel like we can go and get something.
We played them last time. I think they were in the middle of a bad run, and we perhaps took advantage of that. Since then they've got to Wembley in the trophy final. They've just beaten Cambridge in their local derby last weekend. So they're back on a high again, actually, and they'll be looking up again, looking for that promotion spot. So it'll be a different game in that respect as well.
Yeah, when you're playing against a team that's fighting for promotion, it's one of those where there's a lot to play for in the promotion. Obviously, every club's got something to play for in this league, but when you're up there, it gives you that little edge, and they're desperate to get that over the line to get back in the championship. Obviously, we've got a lot to play for as well. It's one we need these points now. It's sort of games are ticking on and games are going to run out. It's one of those where we got to sort of get points on the board now to make the rest of the season a bit easier for ourselves. But it's going to be a tough game, we know. But yeah, it's one of those, what you're coming up against, a team that are going to be desperate to win. We've got to stand up to that.
Do you think it's one of those games where, from the outside, people will probably look at the table, look at the fixture and think it's a home banker, and we can use that to our advantage?
I think from the outside, people looking at it, they're thinking Peterborough come away with a win, rightly or wrongly. Obviously, we're there to stop that. I think we know how we can hurt them. We'll be working on that the next couple of days as well. But yeah, like you said, they've got their threats, and we need to nullify that as well.
Let's just talk about you for a minute. Obviously, I say, how have you settled in? Because you've been to Exeter for a very long time. But I mean, in terms of at the club, how's it been since you arrived?
It's probably been the easiest move for me throughout my career, because I've come home. I've not had to move house and stuff. I've had my house here. The lads have been brilliant, the staff have been brilliant, manager's been great. It's one of those where, apart from the injury at Bristol, other than that, it's been very, very smooth, and I've got a few minutes since I've been fit. Anyway, like when I've been fit, I've played a substantial amount of minutes, so it's one of those where I've fitted in quite nicely, and hopefully I can try and play more football and play as much as I can towards the end of the season now. In
terms of off the pitch, I mean, from a well-being perspective, it must be so great to be able to spend time with your family more?
Yeah, it's been very different.
Are you fed up with them now?
I wouldn't say that. No, it's been really nice. Obviously, being home, you can just pop to your family's house, you see your friends. It's one of those where everything's now, you're at home and everyone's around you that you've sort of grown up with. And when you've been away for about 7 years, majority being over 4 hours away from home. I left home at 16 to go down to Plymouth, and then since I left Plymouth, it's been London, Yorkshire, Scotland. So it's one of those. It's been a long way. It's not been very accessible to come home. But yeah, obviously going in town and everything, you're getting sort of the changes around the city is quite a lot. I obviously came home every summer and stuff, but you sort of notice more when you're here a lot. No, it's really nice to be home.